A very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to start the next kingdom in our syllabus, that is kingdom fungi. As you know, there was a taxonomist. The name of taxonomist was R.H. Whitaker, and he classified the entire living world into 5 kingdoms. The first is the Monera, second Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia, and he classified the living world into 5 kingdoms based on certain characteristics, that is the type of cell, type of complexity in the cell, mode of nutrition and mode of reproduction. And by these characters we get the 5 kingdom. The first is the Monera, that include the all prokaryotes unicellular. The second is the Protista, that include all eukaryote unicellular, that include your photosynthetic algae, slime molds and protozoa. The next is fungi, that include multicellular saprophytes, plantae, that include the multicellular autotrophs, and animalia, that include the multicellular heterotrophs on a broader term. So now we are going to discuss the kingdom fungi. The member of kingdom fungi, they all are multicellular and eukaryotes. That means there is body, their thallus is made up of multiple cells, numerous number of cells, and all cells in that body are having the membrane bound nuclei and membrane bound cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body and etc. However, all members of kingdom fungi are multicellular, but there is an exception, that is yeast. The yeast is the only fungi that is unicellular. Otherwise, all fungi are multicellular. The body of fungi is made up of a network of thread. And this network of thread that forms the body of fungi, this network is known as mycelium. So here you can see the network of thread, and single thread of this network is known as hyphae or hypha. In fungus, the hyphae can be of 2 types, the aseptate hyphae and septate hyphae. The septate word is coming from the term septa, and septa means a thing that divides something into compartments. So here you can see a hypha is there, and this hypha is having the septas. These are the septas, and by these septas the cavity of hypha is divided into compartments, 1, 2, 3 and 4 compartments, and each compartment is having 1 nuclei. So if the hypha is having the septas, and by the septas the hyphae is divided into compartments and each compartment is having a nuclei, that kind of hyphae is known as septate hyphae, and this kind of hyphae are the characteristics of higher fungi. The higher fungi have the mycelium, which is constructed by the septate hyphae. On the other hand, here you can see a hypha. There must be septa, but the septas are absent, and that is why this hypha is having the multiple nuclei that are distributed unevenly. So that kind of hypha that don't have septas, they look like a multinucleated structure, and that kind of hypha are known as aseptate hyphae or koinocytic hyphae. The presence of aseptate or koinocytic hyphae is a characteristic of lower fungi. In all fungus, no photosynthetic pigment like chlorophyll are present, and that is why they are unable to perform photosynthesis, and that is why there is no fungi that is autotrophs. There is no example of fungi which can show the photosynthesis. So they lack the photosynthesis. So how they acquire their nourishment? They all are mostly saprophytic. Sapro word is coming for the nutrition, in which the organism is acquiring the nutrient from the dead organic matter, and phytic word is coming from plant. You know, the plant absorb the nutrient from their surrounding. So they are saprophytic. That means these are the organisms that acquire their nutrition from the dead and decaying organic matter from their environment. And the digestion is always extracellular digestion. Now what is the meaning of extra? Extra means outside, and cellular, that means cell. That means the digestion, that means breakdown of food stuff that take place outside the cell, that is called extracellular digestion. So how this take place? Look at here. This is a yeast cell. Here is the food. So what will happen? The yeast cell will release the digestive juice or digestive enzyme on the dead organic matter outside the cell. Now these digestive juice or digestive enzyme will act on this dead organic matter outside the cell and converts the complex molecule in this organic matter into simpler molecule, and after that the simpler molecule will be absorbed by the yeast cell. That means the breaking down of the food stuff is taking place outside the cell. That is why this type of digestion is known as extracellular digestion. However, most of the fungi are saprophytic, but some of them are parasitic on plants. For example, some of the parasitic fungi cause some disease in plant like the wheat rust disease that occurs in wheat, and it is caused by a parasitic fungi, that is Piconia. And some of the fungi are symbiont also. Symbiosis is a kind of interaction in which the two species are living together and both are benefiting each other. So that means both are having the benefit. The one of the example of symbiotic association of fungi is lichen, in which the algae and fungi lives together and provide the benefit to each other. We will discuss about it further in this chapter. The cell wall of the fungi is made up of a substance that is called chitin, and this chitin is a polymer. You know, the polymer are the larger molecule that are made up due to the condensation between the smaller unit that are called monomers. We will discuss it further in the biochemistry chapter. So it is a polymer, that means a large molecule that is made up by the condensation of a smaller molecule. Chitin is a polymer and it is the homopolymer of N-acetyl glucosamine. Polymer, that means a large molecule that is made up of monomeric units. So chitin की जो monomeric unit है, that is N-acetyl glucosamine, and it is a homopolymer. Now what is the meaning of homopolymer? Here you can see the two polymers, each and everyone is made up of monomeric unit. 5 monomeric units are there and 5 monomeric units are there, but you can see one difference between these two. The first one is made up of same unit, that is equal unit. So homo means or equal, so this is a homopolymer. But here you can see the polymer is made up of dissimilar units, so this is the heteropolymer. So chitin is a polymer that is made up of N-acetyl glucosamine, and it is a homopolymer. That means the all monomeric unit of the chitin are the N-acetyl glucosamine. Okay, now let's discuss the classification of fungi. The classification of fungi is based on the morphology of mycelium, that means what kind of hyphae are there in the mycelium. Mode of spore formation, that means what are the body in their structure that participate in the spore formation, whether it is basidium, it is ascus or some other. So depending upon these two criteria, the type of hyphae and the type of reproductive bodies or fruiting bodies, the class fungi is classified. So firstly, the class fungi, the kingdom fungi, the true fungi that are also known as Eumycetes. Eu means true and mycetes word always come for fungi. So Eumycetes, that means the true fungi, are divided into two groups, the lower fungi and higher fungi, and this division is based on what kind of hyphae they are having. So if the fungi is having the hyphae that are aseptate, that means there is no septa in the hypha and it is a multinucleated structure, so that kind of fungi that are having the aseptate hyphae, they include in lower fungi. And if the fungi is having the septate hyphae, the meaning of septate hyphae, the hypha is having the septa, and septas are dividing the hyphas into small compartment, and each compartment is having the nuclei. So if the fungi is having that kind of hyphae, they included under higher fungi, and if the hyphae are aseptate, they are considered as lower fungi, and all lower fungi are included under a class that is Phycomycetes. Class Phycomycetes, that means the member are having the aseptate hyphae, is further divided into two subclasses, that is Mastigomycetes and Zygomycetes, depending upon a simple criteria. If the fungus is having any flagellated stage during its life cycle, whether the gametes are flagellated, that means gametes are having the flagella, whether the zygote is flagellated, that means zygote is having the flagella. If the fungus is having the aseptate hypha and any flagellated stage in its life cycle, that will be included under Mastigomycetes. Mastigo word is always come for flagella and mycetes means fungi. That means a fungi with a flagellated stage. The another is Zygomycetes. If the fungi is lacking any flagellated stage in its life cycle and it is having a coinocytic hyphae, so that will be included under Zygomycetes. The example is Mucor and Rhizopus. On the other hand, the higher fungi that means the fungus with septate hypha, are further divided into three classes, that is Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes, depending upon their reproduction and what body that they utilize for the spore formation during their sexual reproduction. So if there is a higher fungi which produce the sexual spore in a fruiting body called ascus, so that will be included under class Ascomycetes. The example is yeast and penicillium. You should remember penicillium is a wonder fungus that produce the antibiotics, that is penicillin, and penicillin is considered as a wonder drug. We will discuss about it later in the chapter. The next is Basidiomycetes. If there is a higher fungi that produce sexual spore in a fruiting body called Basidium, so that will be included under Basidiomycetes. The example is agaricus, the common mushroom that we eat. The next and the last class is Deuteromycetes. Actually, this class is also known as fungi imperfecti. The reason is very clear. This is an unstable class. ये class ऐसा है जो unstable है. If you found a fungi, एक ऐसा fungus आपको मिलता है that is showing only asexual reproduction and you are keep studying about the life cycle of that fungus. अभी तक आपको उसकी कोई sexual stage के बारे में पता नहीं चला है, तो you will keep that fungus into Deuteromycetes. एंड फर्दर आपको स्टडी करने पे यदि उसके सेक्सुअल स्टेज के बारे में पता चलता है तो देन यू कैन पुट दैट फंजाई डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द फ्रूटिंग बॉडी इनटू बेसिडियोमाइसिटीज और एस्कोमाइसिटीज. सो द ड्यूटेरोमाइसिटीज एक ऐसा क्लास है जिसमें उन फंजाई को रखा गया है जिनकी सेक्सुअल फेजेस के बारे में हमें पता नहीं है, और जैसे जैसे हमें उन फंजाई की सेक्सुअल स्टेजेस के बारे में पता चलता जाता है तो उनकी फ्रूटिंग बॉडीज के टाइप के बेस पे हम उनको एस्कोमाइसिटीज या बेसिडियोमाइसिटीज में इंक्लूड करते जाते हैं.